Hi, this is Lindsay Yurda from the South Carolina Department of Education's Personalized Learning Team. Welcome to a quick tour of how the South Carolina Teaching Standards 4.0 element, Engaging Students and Managing Behavior, connects to the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. The purpose of this video is to provide a short introduction of how the Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcomes can help measure growth in engaging students and managing behavior. If you haven't yet watched the welcome video in the header of the crosswalk document that explains our overall purpose, we do suggest you watch that video before you continue on with this one. The Measuring PCBL Toolkit focuses on 8 outcomes that we believe are distinctive of a high-quality PCBL system. Belonging is the PCBL outcome that we will focus on today. The toolkit was created to help make measuring PCBL impacts as accessible as possible for classroom teachers, school coaches, leaders, anyone wanting to document the effects of PCBL practices on learners. Let's dig in and learn more about the connections between engaging students and managing behavior and the Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcomes. If you are wanting to measure your impact in engaging students and managing behavior, you could use one of the following Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcomes: self-efficacy, belonging, or engagement. We know that in order for students to be truly engaged in the learning process, they need to feel a sense of belonging. They need to feel that they are truly a part of the classroom community. Let's look to see how you could use belonging to measure impact in the SCTS 4.0 element of engaging students and managing behavior. But perhaps first, we should think about why belonging is so very important. We know that as humans, we have the need to feel securely connected to our community. This became undeniably evident during the pandemic, when those within and beyond classrooms scrambled to incorporate regular virtual meetups and daily activities in order to help ward off that feeling of, and the effects of, isolation. Belonging in an educational environment can encompass a student's sense of being accepted, valued, included, and encouraged by others, and this includes teachers and peers. We must be intentional around not simplifying a sense of belonging. Specifically, belonging is more than a perceived liking or warmth. Instead, a sense of belonging involves support and respect for personal autonomy and for the student as an individual. Research indicates a sense of belonging is positively associated with academic success and motivation. Students who feel they belong are more likely to see the value of required work and have a higher self-belief in their chances to succeed on their course. The indicators for SCTS 4.0 rubric element, engaging students in managing behavior, and the PCBL outcome, belonging, can work together to support teachers in collecting valuable data about their students. For example, on the 4.0 rubric, teachers are expected to work with their students to establish clear commitments for learning and behavior. We know that part of establishing those commitments involves asking students what they want their learning environment to be like. The Belonging Data Collection tool has survey questions that ask learners if they feel a part of the class, if their ideas and perspectives are welcomed, valued, and useful, and if they have responsibilities as a member of that community. Using the survey questions to find out how students are feeling about their place within the classroom community can help us to better understand possible catalysts for disruptive or apathetic behavior. This data can then in turn be used by teachers to inform and grow their instructional practices in the realm of engaging students and managing behavior. Let's click into the crosswalk and see how we might use the data collection tools in the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. Let's imagine I'm a 3rd grade teacher in a fairly small school. This is my 12th year in the classroom, and this is my first year that my classroom management strategies are simply not working. I'm noticing my students seem to be slightly disengaged. It's almost like they're just going through the motions of school. Last month, I attended a personalized learning design workshop, and I learned about shared visions and codes of cooperation. And now I'm wondering, could part of the issue stem from the fact that I give students rules to follow? We have no shared vision? Would coming together as a community to develop a shared vision and a code of cooperation impact students' sense of belonging and degree of engagement, and therefore lessen the number of disruptive and/or disengaged behaviors? I think it might. I want to follow a mini action research plan process, so I'm going to collect some data first. I see that there are 3 different outcomes that I could use to measure impact, and I know that there is a strong connection between belonging and engaging students in managing behavior, so I'm going to click on belonging. I see that there are several prompts and questions that I can use to create a survey for my students. I notice that each prompt has a code for which level it best fits. Since I'm an elementary teacher, I want to make sure the prompts I select fit where my students are as learners. So I might pick 4 prompts that I can use with a Likert scale, like I feel like a real part of this class. I really feel a sense of my place in this class. My thoughts, perspectives, and ideas are welcomed and valued. My thoughts and ideas can help my classmates. My classroom has shared norms and responsibilities for all members. Now, since I'm really interested in whether developing a shared vision and a code of cooperation might impact students' sense of belonging and degree of engagement, I might modify some of the questions to serve as open-ended responses. Perhaps I could change one of the Likert questions to, how could your ideas be better welcomed and valued in this classroom, and get a little bit of an open-ended response there. And perhaps I could do something like, what are the shared norms and responsibilities for all members of this classroom? And why do we or should we have shared norms and responsibilities? Once I made the survey, I would give it to one or all of my classes, depending on what I was trying to measure. After getting the survey results back, I could analyze the data by myself, with my coach, or with another colleague to see what I notice and wonder about what my students are saying around their beliefs of belonging and engagement. If I needed to follow up and do some small group interviews, I could. Then I could use the data to make some changes to my instruction based on what my students said. If my SLO was focused on this same 4.0 element, I could even use these prompts as pre and post data related to one of the competencies I might be working to integrate in my class. If you're wondering if you can do this with more than one outcome at a time, the answer is absolutely you can. You can use each of these tabs down here at the bottom as a menu to pull from, if it relates to the SETS 4.0 element that you're trying to measure. Now, what if I'm a school leader or an instructional coach? How can I use the same crosswalk? Well, if your school has identified a few of the SETS 4.0 elements that are your focus for the year, then you could ask everyone to focus on the same one or give them a choice between a few. Then, as the coach or school leader, you could create a school-wide survey using the prompts and question from the data collection tool that apply to the SETS 4.0 elements that are your focus. Have each teacher give the survey to one class during a given class period, and then reflect on the whole school data or individual class data. When you are all meeting in your PLCs, teachers could set their own growth goals around the data from their students. This is one way that you can leverage the connection between the SETS 4.0 rubric element engaging students and managing behavior and the data collection tools in the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. Now it's your turn to think about which Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcome you want to focus on and explore the survey prompts and questions. We love to partner with educators. Please remember, you can always reach out to your regional coach by going to personalizesc.ed.sc.gov/contact us.